Hi, I wanted to make a video talking about Starseed Men and dating and love and how to get all of you girlfriends. So as you can see, I have all these flowers coming out from my head, and they're even coming off of the picture in the background, which is actually a picture that a friend drew of me. So we have lots of love in this video. And the reason I wanted to speak about this is because I've noticed with a lot of the Starseed men that I know, they tend to be really shy, and that can sometimes make it really difficult to date. And I think, these men I'm talking about are so wonderful. They're exactly what every woman wants, but sometimes because they're so shy, we don't tend to notice them. So it's not that we don't want to go out with them, we just don't always know that they're there. And that's really sad because there are so many women who would love to date a man like that, but we often feel like we only have these other choices, and the men who tend to approach women tend to be more aggressive, and those men also don't tend to have a lot of respect towards women, but we think those are our only options because that's what we're used to seeing, and we might not notice the guy who's kind of in the background who is more shy just because he isn't standing out as much. So I think the first thing I would love to let you guys know is that women are always kind of looking, I think we do this on a subconscious level, but we're always kind of looking for the same traits that would make for being a good father, even if a woman doesn't want children. It's kind of just a thing we tend to gravitate towards, men who are compassionate, who are respectful, who are nurturing, who seem like they'd be really good dads. That is something that we do tend to gravitate towards, and there's obvious reasons for that, because you would want that for if you're gonna have a child with someone and you're going to be basically bound to them on some level for at least 18 years, I think you want someone who would have these really good qualities that they need to nurture that child, so that child has this really great foundation to grow up in. So it is something though that, like, I think it can depend on our cycles as women, because when I've read studies that when we're ovulating, so when we're at our peak fertility point of the month, we tend to actually go towards men who seem more like the protectors, who might be more of the have a more muscular build, that sort of type of guy, like the bigger, stronger men. We tend to gravitate towards them. I don't know if that's always true, but I've read studies like that. But then for the rest of the month, we tend to go more for the nurturing, compassionate guy. So I don't know. I guess that's biologically speaking, we just go towards men like that because maybe we think the kids might have the best chance of survival, but then we go towards the nurturing guy for the rest of the month because once this other guy impregnates us, we want like a really caring, sweet guy to actually raise that child. Could be something, I don't know. Only just read that in studies. I hadn't actually noticed that for myself, but so the things I would let you guys know is, first off, just being who you are is absolutely what women are looking for. You don't need to change. I would just say to be more self-confident and to be really proud of who you are. And just carrying yourself with more self-confidence will draw in a lot of women. And women will just start to notice you. Another way you can attract more women is through dressing. Dressing well. Like, that doesn't mean expensive. You don't have to buy new clothes, but wearing clothes that make you look good and make you stand out. I don't mean stand out like a pickup artist, like to that extreme. I mean more just that maybe make you stand out a little bit more than the other men around you. If you aren't very good at dressing, you can absolutely ask. I'm sure you have girlfriends or female relatives, who maybe a cousin who's around your age. I'm sure there's someone who can help you with this, who would love to take you shopping. I think that really does help. I know I notice guys who have their own style going on. It is something that I notice. So I think that's another way. I think you can also just make friends with a bunch of girls because, you know, as girls, we know other girls. And so the more women you meet, the more likely one of them is going to be a match for you. And women always know other women who know other women. And if they're like, oh, there's this great guy and he's single. And then, you know, she tells her friends and her friends meet you and maybe you guys aren't a match, but she might know someone who actually is a really good match for you. So I think that's another way. I mean, there's always online dating and stuff like that, but if you are kind of more shy, maybe you don't feel as comfortable reaching out to women with online dating. I know I've kind of done that, just sort of like put up a profile here and there, and sometimes there'd be so many responses, I would just freak out and not really answer anyone. So it might be easier to actually meet a woman through her friends or through your girlfriends introducing you to more of their friends and and just going out with them, because there is something really attractive about a man who you'll see him surrounded by women, like women who are just his friends, but you know, if they're at a bar and I as a woman see a guy and he has all these girls around him and then I realize they're just his friends, then I'm more interested in him, because if all these women hang out with him, then he must be a good guy, and he's already sort of passed their test of, you know, who they consider like acceptable for a man. So he must be a really nice guy, and he probably respects women a lot, and they all think he's a cool person. So then it makes me feel more comfortable being around him, because it's like he's already been approved. So, you know, then I feel more comfortable talking to him. And other women feel more comfortable talking to him as well. So that is another suggestion. I would just say, you know, to be really confident, to just really work on your self-confidence, holding this energy of the divine masculine, because as a woman, being around the divine masculine energy, it just feels really, really good. So women will want to just be around you. So doing that, and also just hanging out with women and being around women more, so you can get more of an idea of who we are and what we're about. But I think the big thing is, you know, just to know, like, women actually do want to date men like you. Even if we sometimes go off and date these guys who are kind of jerks, like, we don't actually want that. It's just that they tend to be more aggressive, and so we tend to end up going out with them, even though that's not actually what we want. So I think just know that you are what women want, but we just sometimes don't always notice you guys. So just to be a little bit more self-confident, put yourself out there a little bit more, and so women will notice you. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, and one other thing is, if you are shy, that's a shy man, that's just naturally how you are. There's totally nothing wrong with that. The good news is that then you tend to attract women, like your natural match is going to be a woman who's more aggressive. And I know I tend to go out with a lot of guys who are kind of shy, and so I've been the one who's asked them out first, or like gotten their phone number, which I'm totally okay with, because I like to be in charge. So it's good, because then just being who you are, you'll draw to you like women who are more aggressive, so you can still just be shy. And women like me like men like that, because if I'm with a man who's like aggressive as well, then we tend to butt heads, and it doesn't work out because I need to be in charge. So I like more the shy guy who's okay with that. So you're gonna naturally attract your right match, and she won't have any problems pursuing you and coming to you, but first she needs to know that you're there. So that's the big thing, just being more visible and putting yourself out there a little bit more, and then these women will just naturally come to you. So that is all for today. If there are any questions or ideas for future show topics for Starseed Men, please let me know.